Who cares? We'll let that slide. No. Welcome to the Super Pilotish channel. My name is Graham Wilson, and today in my basement, I'll be telling you yet another Super Pilotish five reasons why you should do maintenance. So that could really be for anything, but I'm going to be kind of talking more about, I don't know, cars, motorcycles, airplanes, cool guy stuff. But anyways, uh, the reason I got the idea for this show, because it's hard to come up with ideas Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Eastern every week. But I was out at the airport yesterday and I was talking to somebody, and he did some maintenance on his airplane. He's allowed to, he's not a mechanic, but depending on how your airplane is certified, you can do some of the maintenance yourself depending on what's what. Legally, I don't know. It's like a bunch of aviation rules and stuff that are pretty complex. But suffice to say, it's totally cool for this guy to work on his plane, and he's been working on the plane for a number of years because he's had it for a long time. And there was something he had to do that he thought, do I really need to do that? I just did that a little while ago. But when it comes to aviation, certain things have to be done. It's like, okay, within a year, most airplanes have to have an annual inspection. Okay, within 12 months, the first day of the 13th month, you must have this done. Otherwise, your plane's grounded. So there's something like that. Other things are based on how many hours the engine has been running or the airplane has been flying. So it's, it kind of depends. But he did this thing. He's like, oh, everything's great. And then he went to do this little inspection and he fixed it up again. And now it's leaking oil. So it's like it was working absolutely fine. And then because he had to fix it, had to inspect it, now it's not working fine. So that can happen like with cars or anything. So, uh, you know, that's how I got the idea for the show. And so I guess I'll just get right into it here with the top five reasons to do maintenance. And, number one, aviation wise, or pretty much, driving your car or anything. Safety, yes. So, and I ran out of room over here. I was gonna like erase it and make it perfect, but I don't care. Okay, so number one, safety. So that got me thinking about when I first bought my motorcycle a while ago, and I was trying to think, when did I get that? It was nine years ago. Yeah, 9 years ago, right around now. 9 years ago, I got that motorcycle, and I got it all. There's a safety inspection I had done on it. Everything's cool. Had to get some new tires for it. Yeah, and then there was one other thing. Yeah. Oh, so a little bit later, after owning it for just not very long. Oh, hey, wrench. It's like the rear caliper, the caliper for the rear brake failed. So it was like mushy brake, no brake for the rear brake. So that when it comes to safety, that's not safe to go driving around like that. For cars, most of your braking's done by the front wheels, but if you're in a panic situation, that might make the difference between you getting hit by the car or you missing the car. So, like, that's pretty important for a motorcycle to have your rear brakes working. So it was like, okay, now the reason that failed, I'm pretty sure, is because the maintenance wasn't done properly on the braking system for that motorcycle. So, what they recommend, and I didn't really find out about that, never really thought about it till I actually looked at the maintenance manual for the motorcycle. And so you're supposed to replace the brake fluid every year. So every 12 months, you know, flush it out. Oh, hey, DH Pilot One. Yeah. So, and then I ended up having to buy seals and I had to rebuild the whole caliper and put new pads in it and a new brake line and all this other stuff. So that was a lot of extra work for me to do when if the guy just like changed the brake fluid, the guy that owned it before me, if he would have done that annual maintenance on it, I probably just, it probably would have worked fine. And then what I did find in your brake fluid, if you don't replace that periodically, there's condensation in there or something. I was reading about it a little bit that it can uh, it can break down rubber and seals and stuff like that in your braking system. So when I was flushing out the braking system on my rear caliper there was all this goo and gunk and like really bad, ugly looking stuff in there. And I was like, oh, okay. So that was it's just the fluid was breaking down and that was destroying the all the rubber and stuff. And it was just all this goo black gunk and stuff. I'm like, okay, that's not right. And then so I thought, well, let's just see if I can replace the fluid in the front braking system. And then a bunch of goo and gunk and everything came out. But now that I've just been replacing the brake fluid yearly, the way you're supposed to, then I don't have. And when I clean it out, there's no gunk, there's no goo, because there's no. And that's the mechanic name for it too, right? So I don't know. On the motorcycle, I haven't had to do really too much with the front with the front braking system. I think I did put new pads on there though. But anyways, yeah. So that was if there's a little bit of maintenance done, I wouldn't have had to rebuild the whole caliper and everything like that. So and then that would have been pretty unsafe. Okay, so there's our safety thing. All right. That's just a little story I felt like talking about. Let's get out a fine marker and we'll see what number 2 is. Now, this one is not so much, when I was thinking about like doing maintenance, it's like everyone knows, yeah, you're supposed to do that. But it's like, well, some people don't, like when they say, like, oh, that's just common sense. And they say, common sense isn't that common. Yeah, it's like depending on how you're thinking and stuff like that. So let's just say you're not the most mechanical person in the world. I will give you a reason that is non-mechanical why you should do maintenance on things. Okay. So, will I spell this right? I don't know. I think that's properly spelled. That's a big word. Okay, embarrassment. Embarrassment. So that was one of the things I was thinking about that guy that was doing maintenance on his airplane. He decided like, oh, yeah, do I really need to do this? I checked it out. It was fine just a couple months ago. And it's like, well, according to what you are supposed to do, okay, I'll do this little thing on my airplane engine. But imagine how embarrassing that would be when and that's like for doing anything in aviation. I kind of consider the embarrassment factor there too. So let's just say the worst case scenario happens and this guy is flying around, his engine quits on him, and he safely lands in a field somewhere. That happens actually quite a bit because airplanes can do that. But and then someone will say, oh, uh, and like there was a problem with this thing that he might have detected if he would have done the maintenance, and they'd say, oh, why didn't you check that? And then he would go, yeah, I didn't check it because and then you're pretty embarrassed because you're admitting you'd either have to lie about it, which you don't feel good about lying. Most people don't. Or you admit, yeah, I was lazy and kind of stupid. No one wants to admit they're lazy and stupid, right? That because that's pretty embarrassing. So, anyways, it's like I don't want to ever have to lie or or just like admit, yeah, I was lazy and stupid. Like that's I don't want to do that. So that's embarrassment is like why I will do maintenance on different things here and there. Okay, and so that's a big one there. Another one. Okay, this kind of makes sense. Number three. I think I forgot to say number 1, number 2. We are on number 3. In the long run, it will save you money if you're doing maintenance. So you don't even have to really think about a car or a motorcycle or anything like that. You can just think about brushing your teeth. So it's like, okay, you're doing your daily maintenance on you brushing your teeth. yeah, you're probably pretty cool. Go see a dentist every once in a while, and yeah, you'll probably be fine. But if you don't brush your teeth and your teeth start falling out of your head, then you're going to the dentist. You're getting root canals. You're paying a whole pile of cash to get your old teeth worked out. And now you're doing other stuff like I don't know, like if you have, this one. I worked with this one girl, and she was going to school to be a dental hygienist, and I was one of her practice patients there. And it was really for a couple of years she did that, and they always need patients to practice on for doing dental hygienist work. So I was learning a whole lot about teeth because like the dental hygienist would be explaining, like, she'd be saying about, oh, they taught us this and that's what we're looking. She could explain exactly what she was doing in my mouth, and I was of course like interesting. Dentist talking. But so like if you got gum disease or something like that, then that goes in, that can like affect your heart and things like that. Oh, now I'm having a heart attack. I can't make it to work. That's going to cost me a lot of money. I'm losing. So you're just brushing your teeth can save you money by doing tooth maintenance. And of course, let's just say I've, what was another time? There's someone came in. Oh, that was it. Another time I was waiting at this one car dealership because I worked for a place that was a pharmacy that was delivering prescriptions, and we would go get the truck, get the oil change done at this dealership. They had the arrangement, so it'd be cool. I drive the car there, wait around in the waiting room, and they change the oil on the truck, and I get paid just to kind of hang out, read a magazine. So that was pretty cool. And they had this jar of this weird looking sludge, weird stuff in it, right? So I asked like someone working at the desk, was like, "What's that stuff?" They said that was because somebody didn't do an oil change. So someone bought a car, they just never did an oil change on it, and then the engine just like seized because the oil all broke up and it wasn't slippery anymore, and nothing, and it seized the engine. So they came back. They're like, "When was the last time you've had an oil change?" And then the customer said, "Oh, I've never had an oil change." So they seized the motor after it was like, I think it made it like 100,000 kilometers, 60,000. I forget the number, but it went pretty far before it seized. And then they scraped all this goo and gunk off the oil pan, and like there was nothing in it. So that is where that person, it was no longer, if you don't change your oil, it's not under warranty anymore. So that person, instead of taking, spending whatever it was on an oil change, now you got to buy a new motor for the thing. So I don't know if they bought a new motor or if they, I don't know, bought a new car. So, but yeah, it was like, well, what's this jar of sludge here? Anyways, yeah, if you do the maintenance, such as changing your oil, it's, it's better, it's cheaper to do that than get a new engine. As another example, okay, here we go. This is maybe something. Okay, if you're doing your maintenance yourself, you can. It's actually a good thing to learn more about your vehicle or learn more about your bicycle, learn more about your health, whatever you're doing for your maintenance on. If you're doing it yourself, you're going to learn something, and that's definitely good for you. That's like the more you know, the more you know, the more you know. It's just better for you all around. So I was thinking about like my motorcycle there that I had to rebuild the rear caliper. I mean, I guess I could have paid someone to do that, but I thought I could probably handle that, and I think I was broke. I didn't have a whole lot of money, so I was like, that's going to cost a lot of money. I better, and I had a car anyway, so I could still get to work. So I could pick away at this motorcycle problem. So yeah, I had more time than money at the time, I guess. So I learned how the rear caliper, how calipers work better on motorcycles and things like that. And yeah, so I actually did that. Actually, that's more of a repair than maintenance. Okay. Here's another one. Okay, on my motorcycle again, if I'm changing the gearbox oil, that's a different type of motorcycle. Most motorcycles, it's like the oil from the engine and the gearbox, it's all kind of together. On a BMW, it's separate. So it's kind of like a car that way. You have a gearbox oil, which is a thicker viscosity, and then you got engine oil over here too. And the two, they shall never meet because there's a clutch and stuff and seals in the way. But anyways, yeah. So I learned that about my motorcycle. Like, oh yeah, it's got two different kinds of oils in there. Isn't that interesting? So, I don't know. I could use that down the road to, I don't know, diagnose a problem if something's clunky or goofy, or like say my transmission on my gearbox starts clunking around on a BMW. It's kind of clunky anyways, but if it really starts clunking, I'll be like, okay, my engine is safe, because if there's any little bits of metal or anything in there, it's not going to go into my engine. It's not going to score a wall of a cylinder or something like that. So like, I'm glad I learned that that's the way that engine works by doing maintenance on it. Well, I pulled that one out of my hat. So anyways, I didn't have an example for that one too much. And it gives you an excuse to look at YouTube videos too, and all that fun stuff. Okay, lots of good YouTube videos on how to do maintenance. Okay, number 5. I forgot number 4, but number 5. And like, I don't know if this is top 5. I'm sure there's other. Every time I think about, there's like 5 things I could do for the super pilotish 5, and then it's like, oh, the people leaving comments is like, oh, there's this and this and this, and it's like, yeah, I forgot. I didn't think of that. So, or people in the comments do get that. Okay, now, so this will be kind of a combo reason. Okay, and this is more, I guess it's more for airplanes and other stuff. Running out of room again. Just made it. Okay. Legally, you have to do the maintenance for you got a certified airplane. You have to do the maintenance. Otherwise, you're breaking the law, pal. You're breaking the FAA rules or the Canadian aviation regulations. It's you're fars and cars, you're breaking them. Yeah, legally, you have to do some maintenance on your airplane. And the reason it's legal is because all those rules are created because someone loses their life, and then they make a rule. So that's very important. And so let's just say I'm not doing a compression test on my cylinders this annual inspection. Who cares? Then you have an engine failure. Oh, and then you had to land in a schoolyard. Luckily, there's no kids, but it was short, and you ran it into the fence at the end of the schoolyard, and you're right off your airplane. Well, the insurance gets involved, and they say, "Can I see all of your maintenance, please, for your annual inspection?" And they say, "Aha, you did not do a compression test." And then, oh, let's take a look at your engine. Oh, you have no compression on these 2 cylinders. Okay, we will not insure your airplane now because you were flying an illegal airplane because you didn't do it. So there we go. And as a pilot, I don't like to talk about the worst of the worst case scenarios there, but if there's the worst of the worst case scenario and you're not insured, say goodbye to everything you got. Or you're going to bankrupt yourself on lawyer fees, or someone's going to sue you for millions, and they'll just take everything you have. So that's why you should do that one little check that you should do could snowball into something that could like really destroy your life pretty much, bankrupt you. So I guess that could be like a bonus of six reasons to do maintenance. You can go bankrupt and your life's destroyed. Actually, I don't know. I think for some reason I think that's funny. That's kind of funny. I would not think it's funny if it happened to me. But okay. Yeah, so let's do a little recap on that and we'll call it a day. Okay. Safety, safety, safety. If you're not checking your brake pads, you might have no brakes, or yeah, do some maintenance on that, or even yeah, you could lose your teeth, have a heart attack, whatever. Brush your teeth, pull up your pants, young man. So, anyways, or embarrassment. Okay, you don't want to be that guy that has to admit, yeah, I was stupid. I didn't do the maintenance. I was lazy. I didn't do the maintenance. Or you could just be a liar when who wants to be a liar? Money. There we go. You will save a little bit of money spent now, will save you a lot in the future. So change your oil and you won't need to change your engine. Okay, you will learn if you're doing it yourself, or even if you're looking into, okay, what maintenance do I have to do? You'll find out like parts of your vehicle or parts of your airplane or whatever you're working on. And like, oh, I didn't know that. You'll learn something if you're thinking about maintenance. That makes you smarter, which makes you save money or whatever. Okay, and then lastly, legally, sometimes you gots to do that, and because if you're flying in an illegal airplane, your insurance won't cover you, and then you lose your house and you're living in a cardboard box out at the airport, just like a flight instructor. But anyways, actually, I knew a guy. He had a summer job. This was back when it was hard to get flying jobs, and he got a summer job flying parachute jumpers, and I don't know. I've called them jumper dumpers for so long. I forget what the real name is. So he was a jumper dumper. So they fly up, dump off the parachutists, and then they zoom back down, and then they pick up more, and they go up and down all day. This guy lived one whole summer in a tent at an airport, uh, and yeah, he lived in a tent at the airport, and then he just like he flew for free, and so he just wanted to get hours so he could go get a job, because it used to be hard to get jobs like that. So he was lucky to live in a tent at the airport. And I forget, he was eating like, yeah, I don't know, he had a hot plate or something. He was eating rice all summer or something. I don't know. He told me afterwards he had a great time. But I mean, I guess you can do that if you're an airplane nut and you're young and you're, I don't know, how old would he be? He was probably like 19 or 20 or something like that. And I don't know what he's up to now. He graduated in college before me, and he was doing that one of the summers during school. So, oh well, what's he up to? I wonder. He's probably at the airlines if that's what he wants. Okay, so yep, that's it. Let's see what we got in the comments here. Here we go. And so Wrench was saying about he's never replaced brake fluid on vehicles. Seems surprising to me. I never replaced any brake fluid ever in vehicles. I do see in my car that in the maintenance it says flush braking system or change it. So the only reason, like, I mean, I've had cars that I don't know, probably never. Although I did have a car where the brakes went out, I got in an accident. But anyways, that's something else. But that was, yeah, I don't know why. Maybe that was brake fluid problem. But yeah, so like just looking at what I saw that came out of that brake system when I was redoing the caliper, I was like, wow, like this is okay, this can't be good, man. Like it, and the thing is that the brake pedal, like it started to get mushy, and then it didn't work at all. So there was a little bit indication there. Like you could pump it and it would work, but eventually you couldn't do that. So, but the gunk that came out of there, I was like, dude, if you ever see that wrench, you'll be like, oh, I don't want that anymore in my braking system. So there we go. Okay, here we go. So Wrench used to own a certified plane, and maintenance is required by law, which is I did get around to that. So anyways, yeah, you get an annual or 50-hour in some cases, 50-hour inspection, and you can't do it yourself. Yep, that's right. Yeah, there we go. And Also, Wrench said he lived in tents 3 summers in Boy Scouts. It's okay if you like it. Yeah, I think it's kind of like living in a tent. It's the younger you are, the more fun it is, or something like that. And the older you get, the more your back is like, you wake up in the morning, you might be a little stiffer or something like that. But I don't know, little kids can bounce around on cement all day. You get old and you're like, oh, my cushiony couch just destroyed my neck. It's kind of weird getting older. But I think I'm gonna go camping. What is it? August? Yeah, I think I'm gonna go camping next month during the week. I'm gonna see if I can do a live from the campsite one of these days. So that's a little plan I have. Something to do while you're camping. You got to think of different little things to do while you're camping. Walk around, light fires, have hamburgers for breakfast. Fun stuff like that. Yeah, okay. So that is about it for today. So today is a Wednesday, so that means I'll be back on Friday because I do this Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Eastern. And we'll just kind of shut her down here. So thank you for watching. Bye.